Is everyone giving their real?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, everyone's speaking their truth.
No stepstones. Everyone give me their real.
So the recording.
So it can help me.
It's live. Sorry, yeah. So I agree with what Paul said. I agree with what John said. But I can actually see both sides. Not even just to play devil. I can fully see both sides. I think this is. I say two things here. So John, see the example you used.
Yeah.
One counter example I thought of for a second was, say you're a vegan.
Yeah.
Because not just because of the health benefits, but also because of your feelings towards
animals
and
slaughtered,
that.
yeah.
Now, if I have a part of my belief or my culture is to have a ceremony where I sacrifice a goat, and I really want you to come, then you're conflicted. No, so I see what you mean about the freedom thing.
But with that, I would go because you're my friend.
See, okay, but that's you. Someone else would be like, I can't go because, like, you're doing something which I'm clearly against. Right? That's just a side. That there was only because that came to mind when you said that's just a side thing. But my actual opinion really comes down to this. When I say I can see both sides, I think it's more of a question of, do you feel like you're not being true to yourself if you go? I think that's the only question that needs to be answered. Because say, for instance, you've got new knowledge or you've learned something that feels true or is true. Now, if you put yourself in a position where you feel like you're lying to yourself or being a hypocrite, I think that's more of the question. If you can go into that situation and still feel like, no, like what Paul said, I'm there for my cousin, I'm there out of the love for my cousin, then cool. But if you feel like you're gonna go there and you're gonna look at it and see everything and feel like, no, I'm betraying myself. I feel like it's more of a question of that, because there's a reason for both to go or not go.
I've got a question. What is on that? What does betraying myself mean? Oh no, it's
me.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, in the example I'm using, for instance, So let's just say the vegan example. If I'm the vegan, and you ask me to go to a ceremony of sacrificing a goat, now I could feel like I'm betraying myself, because how can I change my whole life and almost like preach to those ones that I love that's wrong what you're doing, but I'm gonna go there and rejoice in the celebration of you doing it. So there's a part of me which will feel like potentially I'm kind of betraying myself. But then there's another part of me which is like, my loyalty to you and my love for you is kind of like supersede the fact of that there. Like, so I can see both sides. That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily feel like this one's right or this one's right. I have my opinion for what I would do, but I can see both sides. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But see, in my head though, I'm thinking betraying myself with that example would be me killing a goat. To me, that's betraying myself. Me killing.
I think I've got a better example slightly.
You go.
Because this was the initial thing. Because I remember I was. You're
gonna have to go closer to that.
I remember I was watching Backchat. It's calm. I was watching Backchat, and then some guy said he wouldn't go to his son's wedding if he was gay. So is it that same thing? Do you get it? Like, if it was a gay wedding, would you still go? Like, would you not go to a gay wedding, or would you just be like, "Right, I don't support this. I don't believe in this."
No, gays.
What if it was your friend? What if it was your friend getting? And this friend, he was gonna die, but he saved your life.
Who's your son? Your daughter?
Come on, man. No, I'm going, man.
No, I'll be honest. I'll go in there, man.
My freshest pink, my pink get up. I'm going in the pinkest.
I'm not going to that. Come on, guys, man.
Because do you know?
But why though?
But you know what? Okay, for me personally, for me to not
Paul
go,
has a kid as well. So.
Like for me to not go, like it's a lack of knowledge. Like it's like a lack of understanding. Like from my part, because like I understand that there are people that are gay. I understand that there are people who have interracial marriages. For that to affect me, you know what I mean? I'm like, how can it affect me if that's me? I make my own choices. But if it's to my friends and family and they're happy with what they're doing, I'm going to support that. I'm going to support them first because they're my friends and family. Like my family and friends come first before my own thoughts and what I may think. Do you know what I mean? It's not me. It's not me first. I can't put me first all the time. You know, if I'm putting me first all the time, then I'm gonna end up selfish. Everything I do is gonna become a selfish act because I'm only thinking about my own thoughts. That's how I see it. So even if I've got beliefs that I don't agree with, if somebody close to me has got their own ways that they want to live, listen, I can understand and disagree with them all day long till the cows come home. I will even challenge them about it. Be like, look, I don't understand this. This is my reasoning for not understanding this. But am I going to support them as a friend or as family? Then yes, I'm going to support them. And I feel like there's two differences. You know what I mean? I think it's... but if I'm being honest though, I do understand like the thought, because if, let's say, one of my children turned out to be gay, yeah, like, they wouldn't, I'm not saying I'd be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like, do you know what I mean? I would actually be like, oh shit, okay.
We'll take some thinking, sort of.
Yeah,
like,
this is gonna be. This is gonna be something. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm gonna have to get used to, because I'm not. It's nothing. I'm not used to it. Do you know what I mean? So
Shayne, chime in then, because
what, the gay stuff?
No, forget the gay. Let's stick to the top, because that's just an example, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
To be fair, to me, it's kind of one in the same.
Yeah,
that's like that. You want to go to the like. Where are you at with it? Like off the back of what each of us have just said.
Your son is gay, but sorry.
Go on. Off the back of what we all just said, what do you think?
He's a phenom.
Well, with me, it's like the transformation. Like, remember when I said 2 years ago, like, man transformed, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, man's changed my whole lifestyle, my mindset. Like, everything I've been researching and finding out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on my own journey, innit? I'm trying to better myself. And then, that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone can do what they want to do, innit? Everyone, each to their own. But if you're asking me to come to somewhere and I don't agree with it, I feel like I'll just, to the betrayals, I feel like I'll just, like, everything I've learned, I've just dashed that away just for one night. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've just dashed all that away, and then just because it's family and stuff like that. I don't think that's fair to myself, like, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm being a hypocrite. I feel like I'm being fake. So I've dashed that away. I'm going to go to the, hey, congrats, and then I'm going to go back to my,
I hear
what
that.
I'm learning.
I hear
I'm
that.
like, yeah, it's not to say I'm not against white. I don't hate white people or nothing like that. But it's just my ancestral, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your
blood, yeah.
So basically what you're saying is, like, because of the way you're thinking now, you feel like if you go, it's almost like you're not being true to yourself and where you are now, like, in your growth.
Yeah.
And you feel like if you go, really, because you don't agree with it, you can't be real. You couldn't be real there. So what's the point if you're going?
I'll be lying.
Real?
I'll be there smiling for no reason.
Sorry to bring it back to this, but I'm not. It's the only example I can think about. But it's like the gay thing. Imagine you as a pastor, and then you're just there at a gay wedding dancing. So what are you talking about, man? Your whole thing is you said that's a sin. What's going on?
Depends though, because a lot of churches have accepted it now. You know what I mean?
But that's why
that's what he means. Like, if you're on this thing, and you just
see, but that's the funny thing, because that's why I feel like it really does come down. I'll give it a personal example. Yeah.
Yeah. What was you gonna say? Yeah, Bridget.
All right. So, as an example from personal thing. So, I had a friend of mine. He had a partner,
Daniel Blake,
and long story short, she did him dirty, innit? I don't want to go into detail of what happened, but she did him dirty, and then they got back together. So once she did him dirty, we were talking, and he was like, "This is out of order." We were like, "Yeah, this is out of order." He was in a dark place, like, he was down, innit? And then they got back together, and then all of a sudden, I get put into a WhatsApp group talking about there's going to be a party hosted by both of them at theirs. And I just basically said, no thanks, but I'm cool. And I left the group, and then I messaged him separately to say, look, I'll be honest, I can't come to that, because as much as I love you, I got love for you, bro. I remember what she did to you, like, and I remember how, like, the conversations we had. So out of respect, I just can't be there and put on a fake face, because I won't want to speak to her or anything like that. And I don't want to come with that energy, and, like, it's partly her place as well. You know the ones that don't come with that energy. And so to be true to the situation, I had to say, no, I'm not going to go. But at the same time, I did outstretch or try to make it clear to him why I'm not going. You see what I mean? So it's...
Could I say something on that, yeah? So say, if you went and then told her, I disagree with how you was to my boy and everything, would it make it okay for you to be there? If you voiced everything, like,
to her,
yeah, like Sarah, you know what, you is this X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's I don't really see what's gonna come from that.
But here's my point. You could have went there and not said anything to her. Hi, move on.
But then that's
not being true
rude because I'm not like that. You know,
he's not being true to
yeah, and
himself,
plus,
isn't
you know how I'm in like public scenario settings and stuff like that. So if I'm just high and that's it. I don't now want to bring down her energy in her own personal space as well, just because of my beliefs. I'd rather just say, you know what, I'm not gonna go. Thank you for the offer, but I'm cool. And then to the side, let him know the true reason of why. Now, if he wants to vocalize it to her, cool. And he even messaged back and he's like, you know what, I respect that. Love, I see where you're coming from. Don't watch that. We're still bros. None of one's there. It could have turned out a different way, and he could have been just like, how dare you, but it didn't.
Fair enough.
So my thing is, it's just because I'm kind of relating to Shayne on that thing there of I don't like to be in a position where I feel like I'm having to be fake or show a fake face.
Yeah.
But I hear both. I hear both angles still. I'm just gonna think about it a bit more.
What's alright then? Whilst we're here, then, what's our opinions now in this space of interracial dating? Then? Should I speak first? Where I'm at with it?
I'll go. I don't mind.
I don't mind starting it. And then we'll just go from there.
It's cap.
So
What does that mean?
it's just the space that I'm in with it now. Yeah, is I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and I said, the space that I'm in now, the only reason why I don't see myself having a child with someone who's not black is because of this, basically. Sorry, I'm tap dancing a bit, but it's because of this. As a say, for instance, as a non-black person, I feel like I can't expect them to understand the plight or the struggle or fully understand the mentality of a black man or black woman. So I feel like it's not fair for me to put that on my partner. Now, this is a cop-out at the same time, because I was thinking about it as we were sitting here, because that means that am I not ready to take on the responsibility to instill those things or those morals and principles or whatever I'm talking about on my child, myself? But then the flip side is, because the mother spends more time with the child naturally, that's why I feel like there might be a disconnect there. So it's not necessarily out of like, because you're this or because you're that. It's just, I just don't think it's fair for me to expect you to impart the knowledge that I've been getting and I feel like needs to be passed on to my child, like, if you're not from my race. Now, don't get it twisted, because the flip side is, if we remember, for instance, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, like Yaz, for instance, who was on the thing. That was an anomaly in my mindset, because when you think of like someone like her, you see how she's imparted like a lot of knowledge and like historical facts and stuff like that, like giving her kids a sense of pride of being black. Now, that's a good example there, but at the same time, it goes back to what I'm saying. I wouldn't expect anyone to have to do that. Do you know the ones there? Like, it's a weird one.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, but I'll be honest, I disagree. I feel like even to say interracial relationships is part of the problem already. Like, the problem is, racism was created by white supremacists and will always be there. But as black people, I'm not saying like integrate, but I'm saying they created that thing. I feel like the main thing should be everybody understanding where we come from. I think knowledge comes first. So let's say if you for instance, you're not going to get with somebody who is completely naive to any black shit. Do you get what I'm saying? Who has no understanding, who is stupid or has that kind of under that racial racial bias or any type of
ignorance.
That ignorance, because you're just not going to get on with them as a black person. But there are some people, and I don't want to call them anomalies, because there's more and more white people who are clued up. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, because everybody knows, what a lot of white people are like, the ignorant ones who annoy you and say stupid shit. But there are more and more who are clued up and who are aware. You know what I mean? Guys as well, girls, guys, So I'm not gonna, just because of the stupid, ignorant ones, the other ones who are clued up and who are aware and who do understand, you know, treat them with the same cloth. That's like me going back and being like them and saying like, when they had all of their ignorance, their ignorant phase, thinking all of us are the same. Like, how can I be that ignorant as well? How am I going to sit here and say, okay, like all white people are now are ignorant? Because they're not all ignorant. You know what I mean? And things have changed. Like, we're not still at the same place where we was 100 years ago. You know, things were worse 150 years ago. But, and there is a big but here, but that's not to say that integration is the way, or that's what everybody should want to do. Because I feel like if you want to stay within your own race, that's fair. If a white person wants to stay within their own race, that's fair. If a Chinese people want to stay within their own race, that's fair. That should be a choice. But you know, but to knock somebody for wanting to be with who they want to be with, I don't agree with that either. Everybody should have freedom of choice, and that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Shayne, I'll go after you, man. I'll go after you. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was kind of clear, like with my thing, innit?
I like that. That's such a sound like a boss.
I thought I was clear.
I haven't actually had a girlfriend who's outside. I've experienced a girl outside my race. I haven't had a girlfriend outside my race. Oh,
He's had relations with outside the race
Yeah,
before,
so
as we all have in the
yeah.
past,
It's that uni and that. But I think for me, one thing I have to say, I don't know, man. I feel like your mind is one thing, but your heart's something else. You may well find someone who is the complete opposite to you that you fall in love with. So me personally, I haven't had that experience. My wife is black, but I'm actually open to anyone else like having that choice, because I'm open to anyone else having that choice, just because your heart, man, it could easily have been that girl. It could easily have been that girl if the heart's something else, man. Like, you can't.
Yeah, but that doesn't that depend on where you are though? Because if you was in like the tribe in Nigeria, look who you're around. Like,
Exactly.
do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So because we're here, like it's multicultural or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So,
that's why everyone's saying that now. It doesn't matter who you fall in love with. Like,
yeah, but look, it was probably easier to fall in love with a black girl if you're in a tribe, because there's only black girls.
Yeah, that's.
and if you was in Alaska, no, sorry, go on.
Alaska, yeah, it probably, you probably have some Alaskan baddie, yeah. You can imagine, you'd never see that booty. It'd be like some long fur jacket. You'd never seen that booty.
Yeah,
Let me see that fur.
Yeah. Stroke that fur. So like, I think, look, when it
Get that wall.
Let me stroke that fur out.
So yeah, I just think for anyone else, like, come on, man. I remember thinking, what if your heart just takes to that? It's like, Shayne, you like making Warren, you like making beats. I don't like making beats, bro. I hate making. I'll never do that. You love it. I don't. Like, race, I know it's a bit of a different thing, but I think we're pulling on the same heartstrings here. It's like, can you really? First of all, is it even love? Like, secondly, is it if it is love, who are you to say who someone should love and not? Because I think we've missed that part here. It's more about we've missed that part, that you're actually in love with this human being. I have friends that are white, which I love, man. I love some of those dudes. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Niall, those dudes. Like,
Trust me.
That's all of them, isn't it?
Ian, Alessandra, you know that.
Trying to stand at the.
I've got white friends.
Yeah, but what? So what about like?
Angus just called. Angus just called.
You said, hey, you didn't shout.
What about like? So what about like generational wealth? Then, if you want to go into that, like,
Yeah, so generational wealth, that's what you and your family do.
yeah,
Bro, you find a black girl, that's cool.
yeah,
But it's this idea of like, I feel like where we go wrong here, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but it's what I feel is, this is my way, but I want the whole world to do it my way. It's like, no, like, you don't like going to graveyards or whatever. Cool. If I go to graveyards and I'm your boy, I shouldn't get judged for that. What's that got to do with you? I'm going to graveyards. You don't want to go, cool. It is absolutely nothing to do with you. Like you wasn't my boy because I went to graveyards or I didn't. You're my boy because
You're my boy.
yeah. So if I'm going to graveyards and you don't like going to graveyards, shit, it's none of your business, to be honest. It's actually none of your business. Like, but I feel like when we have our likes and dislikes, it's like, oh, and you make beats. Oh, this guy's a waste man because I don't make beats. We don't do that there. But when it comes to like, I feel like when it comes to it's a thing of
There has to be a choice, and if you don't have a choice, or your choice is everything, or you even do have a choice, somebody's always got something to say. Like, nah, I don't agree with that. That's fair. You know what? Please don't. But that will never affect our relationship as friends or family or anything. Listen, because at the end of the day, we're put on this planet to explore, expand, be different. Imagine if everyone was the same. Everyone can have a mindset. Everybody should understand what has happened and understand themselves and certain things. But beliefs will always be different to an extent. You know what I mean? And some people hold certain things closer than other people do. And that's fair. That's part of everybody's growth.
what do you say now?
I was gonna say, let me come from this angle then. So like, obviously I get I get both sides, but I'm gonna have to back up Shayne here because I feel like I keep going back to gays, bro. But I'm not even trying to. I swear down it every time. I'm not even trying to do it. But like, say, okay, no, I don't need to use that. Let's talk about.
That was a joke to me.
Yeah, sorry, because I just feel like I'm grilling them for no reason. So let's talk about like, we know this thing with the rappers, and it's always like light skinned girls in the videos, and da 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 da. So what we're doing here, we're not unpacking the real stuff. So like, if people are saying, like, I hear people say, your heart is your heart, and I used to be like, yeah, fair enough, and it's still like, don't get me wrong, I'm not that guy to be like, I generally don't care about the race thing because I've clocked now. There's a load. I've clocked like behaviours now. It's in black people. There'll be toxicity. There'll just be.
It's about who's righteous.
It's just basically righteousness.
Yeah.
But then also there will be a level of righteousness where you have self-love. Even the let what a kind of Caucasian man be like, I want to preserve my race and marry white. He can fully say that. I generally don't give a crap. Maybe I did like 2 years ago. Now I've realised, no, this is a brainwashing.
Yeah.
What if I want to preserve my DNA with just purely black and then build it up all of it? So I don't care about that. But then there is behaviours to where there are toxic people everywhere. So that's why if someone chooses to go outside, it could be because the light skin thing or the brainwashing of a white woman's better. It could be that, or it could be he's generally just like, I tried, but these lot are crazy. She's normal. She's a nice normal woman, and I can do more of this. Yeah. So and that's what I'm talking about when I'm unpacking it to where there's some brainwashing thing with the rappers getting light-skinned girls, these children, that they think, oh, I need this type of girl, or da-da-da-da-da. Then now they don't even care about the heart or love, and they start talking about, oh, but I just love who I love. It's like, do you really? Or did you have things that were shown to you to make you go outside? So it's like if everyone was born with a healthy mindset and we still all had our ancestors, think about it, our race got destroyed, all this stuff taken, our self-image got just like pressed down and destroyed. Maybe we don't feel nice about ourselves, then you got a bunch of people growing up in this land and they can easily attack someone and make you think this is better. They show a black woman she's always by herself or something, or struggling. On the TV you get these images. Or when the basketballers grow up, then they get a different woman outside the race. So it could be programming the same way. So I'm more like, if everyone, imagine we was just still in our homeland and no one came and done anything mad, and we was all around our people and they were just all around their people, would we even care about going into like, would it be even that deep? Most of us would be like, yeah, I just like my stuff. I just like my what? Of course I do. I was growing up around it. This stuff's normal. So if someone says there's no way I'll date outside, that to me I can't really imagine it either. Just because the same thing with Shayne, what I've learned, what I grew up like, what I'm saying, in the self-love, and I realised there was like things that are making you think certain ways. Like you kind of, you grow up
with the same logic though. Say we all grew up together. There was whites back in the day, and no such thing as the myth of slavery. There would be no problem with you being with a white woman either. It's only a problem because of what has happened.
That's
Nah,
It's the same logic. What are you talking about? It's the same logic. Say there was no slavery.
They wouldn't.
Why
They
would there be a
wouldn't
problem?
Why-
Because like
Because DNA.
DNA, yeah, like
I get you, but you know, it's more like, okay, I get you, but I get the reasoning, like, but I'm coming from look, there's some people that are in love, and you know it's toxic. I get that, but I'm still coming from the point of view of like, it's with that in mind. My point of view is with that in mind still, of yeah, some people are with other races because they hate their race.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
true.
And that's the toxicity
It's true.
part.
reminds me of that guy in
That's when
Boondocks.
It's true.
But you know what it is, yeah. But you know when you hear stuff like this,
It's true,
I
it's true.
don't date. Like I hear man say, I don't like black girls, or I hear people say,
It's
I
self-hate,
don't like,
it's self-hate.
or I only like a light skinned girl, or I only like white girls. I think all of the only liking or only, for me, I start to see that as now, okay, so there's some form of
Trauma or something.
there's some sort of programming or trauma behind it. If you're not, the thing is with me, I kind of look past the race to a certain point because I've had different, I've had interracial relationships. I've had relationships with black girls with all different types. And what I've realised is,
It's not like a pimp. I fucking had them all, I tell you that.
But what I found out is though, it's like sometimes you just, it's more important about how you communicate with the person and like the respect levels that you both have when it goes past a certain point. Because if we was all blind, yeah, if everyone was blind, you know what I mean, you wouldn't, it would be how you connect or vibe with that person. But we're not all blind, and there is this thing of race. You know what I mean?
No, you're snapping. It sounded funny when you said that.
So, you know what I mean? And it's been created now. Like there's this creation of you have to choose or you have to do. No, the thing is, yeah.
Slavery is a myth anyway.
Yeah, well. Personally, I just feel like this, yeah. I feel like there's toxicity to a point sometimes where it could be with anyone. I don't think some people are toxic and some people are not toxic. I feel like some people are just not made to be together, and some people you get with and it's just easy to be with them. And maybe that's who you're meant to be with. Why does it have to come down to race? Do you know what I mean? Why does it have to be
I get it, yeah.
race
bro.
bound? Why?
I get it, yeah. I get it 100%. And I like in the same breath I say, well, my thing, even though my plan is to have a black wife, if my friend has a white wife or whatever, I don't like, it's cool. Like that's one thing me and Shayne have had conversations, and I'm like, sometimes a person can't help who they fall in love with.
Right.
If I fell in love with someone who was out of my race before I did the research on myself that I needed to do, or knowledge of self that I needed to do, whatever you want to call it, then I'm not just going to break up with her because, oh no, now you're thinking, because I'm with you because you're a certain type of way. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But all that being said, we can't just dash over the fact that no, hold on, sorry, we can't just dash over the fact of the genetic thing. Like it's not just the same of if there was no racism, then we wouldn't know what is what. Let's keep it 100 now. Just speaking for myself, yeah. We know there's a dominant gene and there's a recessive gene, innit? And we know from studies as well, there's been studies where people from our race have been taken and DNA taken from us to benefit other races because of our genetic makeup. That can't be ignored. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about black supremacy. I'm not going to go that far, because if I do that, I'm just as bad as the guy speaking about white supremacy. I don't think that I'm better than someone else because of this or that. I genuinely don't. I'm happy with my history and I'm proud of my history. But at the same time, I do realize, you see the example you gave about you don't think that, like, surely there's white people that know about the black flag. There are. But at the same time, think about the environment we're in. We know about the Battle of Hastings 1066.
No, I fucking don't.
You've heard of
Somebody
it, bro.
told me about that today.
Cool. But you've heard of it though. You've heard of it.
I do know about it, but I fucking hate that. I swear, that's the only thing about history. Like, you know, like when you think of history lesson, that comes into my head, and I don't know. I don't know anything.
I still can't remember it. Yeah.
Go on,
But the point being, see how we can even have a conversation about
that. Like,
and that's not to say if you live in this, if you're a British person, just a white English person that lives in this country, There's no knock on you, the fact that we know it. But the point is, we're here and they haven't been exposed to our history. The ones who do find out have really had to go out their way to find it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say,
even
well,
accept
it should be forced on them as if it was forced on them. Like, what do we expect? We should know about the Battle of Tennessee because we live in Britain. Like, this place isn't made for us. So there's a degree where it's like, if you want to, you either have to take on the responsibility yourself as a black person or whatever race to learn your history and put it and impart it onto your children. Don't turn around and just be like, oh, you're ignorant because of this, you're ignorant because of this. Well, if we go to another country, we're ignorant, my friend, because we don't know their history because we weren't taught it unless we learned it ourselves. Yeah, so that's something that needs to be taken into account. But one thing I don't want to brush over is that it's not just if we're all blindfolded, it's going for who, like, there's other things there. Like, we know there's genetics. So if you're making your decision based on that as well, then you can mention that, and it's a fact. Like, it's fair to be mentioned.
No, that is a fact.
But what does that have to do with love?